What's going on, guys? My name is Noah, and I've got an update for you guys regarding my testosterone replacement therapy, more specifically my current blood work as far as my total and free testosterone is concerned at my new low dose of 100 milligrams a week of testosterone cypionate. Now, if you don't know my story or my backstory, please feel free to read the description and or just put in TRT Big No-No on YouTube. I've got a slew of videos that have detailed my experience over the last 6 or 7 years. The skinny of it is, and I always try to do this real quick, is that I was going through a treatment-resistant depression back in 2011 after a year of trying a lot of psych meds, hospitalizations, psych treatments such as RTMS, shock therapy, stuff like that. We found out that I had almost no testosterone in my body via 4 or 5 blood draws, and then we started treating me on testosterone to get that hormone adjusted. It certainly has played a big role in giving me a lot of fuel and energy to thrive and or get through life as someone who does have a propensity in nature to be depressed and anxious. So it helped, it definitely helped. And I've updated you guys over the years on my blood work as we've gone along. They started me on 200 milligrams every week, and then over time we have just continued to lower it and lower it and lower it based on a few things, one of which was symptom relief, right? The symptoms of low T, which mirror symptoms of depression and anxiety, quite frankly. Erectile dysfunction, low energy, depression, stuff like that. Anyway, and we just lowered it based on symptom relief, side effect profile, and blood work. There needs to be some sort of harmony between those 3 factors, and we've tried our best to navigate that. And then I've done my darndest to be open with you guys about how my experience has been. So the most recent blood work I got, which I posted on this YouTube channel, gave off red flags, right? So we started me at 200 back in 2012 or 2011, and then we lowered me to like 160, 140, and then 120. And I was like, I'm scared, I don't want to go that low. We went to 140, and I've lived there for a long time. Well, my blood work came back on 140 a while back, and it was much too high. Numbers will be up here, but I believe on my trough day, right, which is the day I inject, or midweek, excuse me, after I pin, my numbers were super physiological. They were just too high. No male would naturally be that high. And of course, that's a concern, that's a problem, and we're doing it for the wrong reasons if we're staying in that range, in my opinion, for me personally. So my doctor, Dr. Chris Louise, looked at that. He saw my total testosterone, I believe it was like in the 1600s. My free T was like in the few hundreds. It was really high. And we're like, we have to lower you. And I posted that on my last video, and I'll include a screenshot of those numbers right here in case I slightly missed it. So we lowered me from 140 to 100, and not only do we lower me down, we took the 100 now, my new low dose of 100, and we split it in half. So I have been pinning twice a week. My normal pin schedule is Sunday night and Thursday morning. Sunday night I do 50 milligrams, and Thursday morning I do 50 milligrams. And so what I did was I was on this regimen for a couple weeks, and then I did my injection Sunday night of 50 milligrams. And then Thursday morning, when I would normally go and have my next, I do it to myself, but I'd normally go ahead and do my next treatment. I got my orders, I went to the lab, and I got my blood drawn, and that's the result that I have for you today after so many words, okay? So what we have now, and I'll put this on the screen with me so that we can talk about it and look at it, is we've got my total testosterone, again, on my trough day. So right before I would take my next dose of 50, my total testosterone was 618. So much healthier number than it was. Much healthier than it was. My number, again, I think it was like 15 or 1600 midweek on this exact same, like let's say 3.5 days after injecting. So we have that 618. Now this range is 250 to 827 nanograms per deciliter. Now mind you, I'm not a range Nazi. Some of the labs have like 1200 as normal, and I don't think my doctor would have batted an eye if I had been around 800 or 900 or even 1000 nanograms per deciliter. That's perfectly fine. I've always been open, or at least I hope I've been open, about the fact that I have no interest in just being barely average for the sake of being average. I'd like to be optimal and safe, right? I'd like to have however much of this very vital and important hormone in me that would render some positive results in terms of my physical wellness, my mental wellness, without too many side effects or whatever. But I'm perfectly cool with 618, that's great. And then more importantly perhaps would be the free testosterone. So free testosterone is your bioavailable testosterone. And my free testosterone was 134.5, and the range there is 46 to 224, I think it's picograms per milliliter. And that free testosterone before, the reason we lowered my dose, it was like in the few hundreds, which is super physiological. So I like the idea that I'm in the range at arguably my peak day, 2.5, 3 days after injecting, because it slow releases, right? The testosterone that I inject, it's cut with cottonseed oil, I believe. So you do an intramuscular shot, but the whole idea is that it disperses slower from your muscle into your blood and all that good stuff. So 134.5, you know, middle of the range, and I'm okay with being middle of the range. I'm going to talk to my doctor. He's pretty pleased with these numbers. I do have an instinct to go up. I have an instinct to go from 100 to maybe 120 split into 2 doses, because again, I'd love to be in the upper side of the range. I don't want to just be in the middle, but then again, it all depends on how I'm feeling. Now, having going through a depressive stretch here, I kind of fell into a depressive episode about 2 months ago, which was a little bit before I actually switched my dose, so I'm not sure there's any correlation there with lowering my dose or whatever, but I certainly do feel good, at least on a conscious level, knowing that I'm not far exceeding what any normal man might have. The whole idea is to be in balance here. I've always felt a slight pressure with posting all this stuff to make sure that my integrity was in check and let you guys know that, yeah, of course I want to look good and feel good and all that stuff, but I don't want to cheat, right? I don't want to do anything that could have deleterious effects long term for me. I don't need more. I just want as much as I can have that would help me to feel okay. Mental health needs to always be the #1 priority, and physical health, of course, thereafter. So this is good. This is a good update, and we'll see what Doc wants to do. I think the whole idea, though, was that we were going to get me on this low dose of 100, well, lowish dose. It's the lowest dose I've ever been on, and then perhaps start some Clomid, or see if we can get me fertile, so that I can at least consider the possibility of having children, little baby me's, which is still on the table, and I want it to be. The next big topic that we need to talk about on this channel is how we go about doing that. Now, Dr. Miletus believes that Clomid is the way to go for that. A lot of you guys are pretty outspoken that you don't think so, that you think an HCG regimen is the way to go. Dr. Miletus seems pretty skeptical about that, so maybe we get him on the channel and we have an open dialogue and see what we can do. But anyway, guys, share your feedback, please, and not just about obviously what's going on with my blood work here, but please share your feedback on your experience with TRT. If you're new to this, go get blood work done. You can order it from Direct Labs. I'll put a link in my description. I get a little cut if you happen to use that link, but you can go print up these orders, take them to a lab, and then you'd have to take the lab results to a doctor to interpret them, but you could get the results and do some homework on your own, at least to get a sense of if you might be in trouble, and or if you're thriving and you have good, strong levels. A lot of the people that I've spoken to that have been privy to my story are always surprised when they actually follow through with getting some blood work to find that a lot of them have testosterone deficiency issues. So it's a pretty widespread and rampant issue that a lot of guys are experiencing. I'm 32 years old, but I was 25 when I found out I had extremely low testosterone. The how and why stuff we can discuss at different times. It's not like we haven't on this channel, but I suppose this video is running along. So that's what's up, guys. That's what's going on. Big No-No has the most normal ass levels I've probably ever had since starting my TRT. This is probably where I need to be, or where I should always be. So thank you for my TRT community for being patient. Again, for anyone watching, look, there's a lot of reasons that a lot of us struggle with mood and whatnot, depression, anxiety, depersonalization, and or just feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness, apathy, low energy, erectile dysfunction. One of them may be that you have a hormone issue, be it your thyroid, your vitamin D, your testosterone. So it's worth knowing, it's worth looking. It's at least a piece of the puzzle that you want to put in place so that you can at least get onto whatever next needs to be done. And that's that. So go get your blood work. I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with knowing. Information's power. And I appreciate you guys' time. Communicate with me in the comments below. Help me learn from you. This is a two-way street. I'm very grateful for you guys' time. And we'll get Dr. Miletus on the channel. Let me know what TRT content you want next. I might do a pinning video relatively soon because I figured out a new system with an insulin syringe that's working pretty well. All right, guys. Thank you for your time again, and we'll see you guys in the next one.